Well, hello everyone. Welcome to a special Thursday night live stream. Yep, I have my mic on. I wasn't sure if I hit the right button. Thank you all for being here. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning to whatever it is, wherever you're tuning in from. Happy holidays. Welcome. Just felt like closing out the year tonight with one final live stream here at Quick Tech Solutions. If you don't know me, my name is Tony. I do some IT how-to videos. I try to share with people things that I learn along the way and just pass it along and kind of give back to the community. So again, I'm kind of hoping we just have a little fun here tonight, just kind of hang out. You can see a little difference in my set tonight. I have a little festive design going on behind me there with the green and red, and a little festive uh, picture up on the big screen. I got my buddy sitting on top of the chair there and a little festive blanket. I can't make my buddy talk like Keith does on Tuesday nights, but he's here to keep me company. Got my wife, she made me the bow, and then she ran out at the last minute and to get me a Santa hat. And I guess this is what I get for waiting for the last minute, right? It wasn't quite what I had expected, but it's all good. I'm here to have some fun. Again, I got my festive Have You Been Naughty Harley t-shirt on, and of course, my festive adult beverage. So cheers to everybody. Thank you all for being here. Happy holidays, whatever you celebrate. Make the best of it. Be happy, be safe, enjoy family and friends. That's what it's this time of year is all about. So cheers to everyone. All right. So what I was kind of hoping to do a little bit tonight was just kind of get a sense of what everybody's doing for the holidays. I have a couple of things I can share, but I want to kind of get a sense what everybody's up to for the holidays and what you're doing this time of year. Also, Black Friday sales. Did anybody catch any good deals on Black Friday sales? So that we'll kick things off with that, and then maybe we'll just go with it and see wherever it goes. Let's go ahead and jump over to the comments and start saying hello to folks. Let me just grab TVJ's link because I see he joined in. Bear with me here, guys and girls. There we go. All right, now we'll get up to the comments. Let's go all the way back to the top. Okay, we got Jason's lab here. Jason says, yeehaw. Thanks for being here, Jason. Appreciate you coming along this Thursday night. We got Joe over from Tech for Fun. Joe, thanks for being here. We got Jeremy Like with Practical IT. Jeremy says the Motley IT crew is filling in. Hello, everyone. We got Ashley Trelly, Joe's wife. Thank you. That's Mrs. Tech for Fun to everybody. So thank you, Ashley, for being here. Let's see who else. We got TVJ's here. And TVJ says he likes my shirt. Thank you, TVJ. I do too. It's pretty much the only time of year that I can get to wear something so colorful. So I take every advantage of that. And then we got Dave Horde here. Thanks, Dave, for being here. Dave said that's some shirt you're wearing. Yes, it's very holiday-ish, right? It's very festive. Thought you guys would all like that. TVJ wants to know what I am drinking. Okay, so I have two drinks here tonight. I have my traditional Yeti filled with ice and water. And then I have my favorite wine, which is an Argentinian Malbec. I don't know exactly what brand, but this is my go-to. Any Argentinian Malbec for me, it'll do the trick. So, yep. So that's that. So that's what I am drinking. Bob Carpenter's here. Welcome, Bob. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Cheers. And let's see what else we got going on here. Jason's excited. He says Bob's here too. Two people from Canada. There you go. Canada's in the house tonight. Yep, tons of friends in here. That's what, we support each other, and I love that about the community. I try to make everybody's live streams when I can, and I know everybody does the same here. We all give back and try to help each other, and that's awesome. So that, in fact, kind of what made me want to do tonight was just kind of close out the year and just, as you saw in the title, let's just hang out for the final stream of the year. All right, so let's see what else we got here. Thank you, Joe. Joe says like the stream. We got 10 concurrent viewers and we got 4 likes. So yeah, if you go ahead and like the stream, that would be greatly appreciated. Bob says Chilean Reds are some of his faves. Presumably Argentinians will be similar. Yes. Yep. TVJ says Haley and I are going to have a drink as well. We are having cherry sangria. Well, cheers to you and Haley, Jay. Okay. So let me know what you guys are doing for the holidays, and anybody have anything special planned besides the typical, family get-togethers and things like that. What's happening? What's going on? Let me know. And also one other thing, as you can see, the lighting is a little different tonight, and I know TVJ, you like my normal video lighting, but I wanted to just do something a little different. For one, it's a festive time of the year, and 2, it's an evening stream, so a little something different. Actually, Joe gave me that idea to kind of dim the background lights if I ever decided to do an evening stream. So Joe, thank you for that suggestion. But one thing, so I don't have the background lights on. I don't have the big 11-inch LED lighting up the back part of the room back there over by the drum set and those pictures on the walls. I do have my key light, my fill light, and I do have a hair light up above me, but typically also I do run a light, let's see, right back here in this area to normally illuminate that fake plant and the chair and usually the pillow that's on it. But right now I have that off, and I couldn't decide whether or not I wanted it on or off. So I left it off to start the stream, and I figured I would let you guys decide on or off. So I'm going to get up real quick and turn that on, and then come back and sit down and leave it on for a few. And then I'm going to get up and turn it off again. And then I want you to guys just let me know in the comments what you think, on or off with that little auxiliary light that's going to light up this area here. So let's turn that on. And I don't have it on high. It's on like at the lowest setting, which is 20% illumination. So yeah, so there we go. TVJ says, Haley and I are hosting the annual Christmas Eve party. Very cool, very cool. Ashley commenting that she'd rather have the light off. Okay. Tech for fun. Joe says light off. So let's see what a few others think, and then we'll go with the consensus. Let's see. In the meantime, Dave says, my son is graduating from UNC Charlotte on SAT Family B from PEI coming down for the holidays. They want to see an NBA game. Hornets are at home. Awesome. Who are the Hornets playing, Dave? And how long are the family going to be in town? And I'll share what we're doing too shortly in a minute. Joe says Joe and Ashley are hosting Christmas Eve, Joe, or Christmas Day, or both. Bob says off, and I just noted the Butcher Block desk. Yep, that's the Butcher Block desk, new edition. Let me see if I could switch to just a different angle real quick so you can see a little bit more of it. Let me get rid of the comments. Yeah, so it's I think it's 38 deep by 72 inches in length. I just wanted something bigger, something that I could spread out more. I got a big monitor in front of me, a 49-inch monitor, and just wanted something that would give me more space in this area when I do unboxings and product videos. So in any event, yep, I've been loving it, and I'm so happy I made the move away from the glass desk to the Butcher Block. All right, so it looks like the consensus is to turn that light off, so let me do that. there you go. The crowd has spoken. All right, let's go back to the comments for a second. And Jeremy says, Monkey see, monkey do. I just poured some Quiet Man 8-year single malt. Cheers, everyone. That's awesome. Cheers, Jeremy. Prince Edward Island. Thank you. I did not know what that stood for, David, so thank you for that clarification. Can I make that light red? No, that particular light, TVJ, is not capable of that. It's just a white light with different Kelvin temperatures and obviously different illumination settings, but I can't change the colors on that one like I can on the one behind me there that's red on the wall. And just as they're doing Christmas Day, so we're doing Christmas Day as well. We're going over by my sister who lives in the next community over on Christmas Eve. Jason wants to know where the Mac Studio is. Okay, so let's see which angle is better. You're not going to see it basically because it's behind the monitor, but let me see which angle is a little bit better. All right, so you can see more of the desk here. So if I'm extending my arm straight out this way, the monitor is probably about 8 inches away from the tip of my finger, and right behind that monitor is the Mac Studio. And it's perfectly positioned where I can get to the USB ports on the front, actually Thunderbolt ports in this case, and the SD card slot. So the monitor is high enough where I can get to that stuff without having to go and reach around. So, yep, that's where it is, and I've been loving it. Is yours still sitting in the box, I want to know, or did you actually get around to taking it out and playing with it? I think I'm going to leave some of the lights on, Joe, but thank you for the suggestion. Nucky Joe wants to know what light. We were talking about, if you're asking about what light Jay was referring to and what light I was referring to. So let me see if I can tether my phone. I haven't done this in a while. This might not work. Give me a second. I got to see. Let me get over to, let me just see if I can get around and show you guys. I will be surprised if this works. That. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try to make this work. Okay. Let's see. I'm not sure. It might not work, guys, but I'm going to try it. Ooh, I got lucky. All right, hold on 1 second. Let me flip over to camera 3. Okay, so Jason, to answer your question, you can see right in front of the monitor there, there's the Mac Studio. Got a little power strip right next to it. And then there's a USB hub right in front of it there. And then a little over to the left, you see my monitor. And Unky Joe, we were talking about that light right there. That light is usually shining down just to highlight the chair and that plant a little bit. So that's the light we were debating about right now, if it should be on or off. And then while I have this camera connected, that light that's hanging from the ceiling there is usually the light that illuminates the wall with the drums. So that's off. That's usually on, and that brightens up the whole back of the studio usually when I'm recording my videos. So, all right, so that was a success. I'm shocked that the SRT decoder actually worked. It's been a while. Usually you have to kind of do a soft reset to get it to work. It's been sitting for quite some time. So anyway, I'm happy that that worked. And let's see, where are we in the comments here? So the last one on the screen was Unky Joe saying, what light? There we go. So Jason's saying mine is still in the box. Jason, break that puppy out. Come on. And TVJ says, have I played the drum set? Yes, but you're not going to get a chance to sample that this evening. Unless I keep drinking some more of that wine. But no. I do play it for fun. I do play it for my own personal recreation and enjoyment. But I don't get a chance as often as I would like to. So Joe says, almost finished with the project at the studio you helped me with. Punched a lot of vertical cable keystones. Oh, wow. Okay, cool. So you'll like that tool then. Do you find that it comes in handy? I mean, I absolutely love that. Ashley just poured a glass of red. Cheers. Unky Joe was just trying to be funny. Well, you actually made me test out my iPhone and the SRT decoder. So thank you, Unky Joe. And yes, no, that wasn't Filmic Pro, Joe. That was not Filmic Pro 7. I do have Filmic Pro, not version 7, but that was the Larix SRT app. Hey, Alan, nice shirt. I got to say. Do you really? Doesn't surprise me. We probably bought them together at the same dealership on some ride we were on together. Welcome to the live stream, Alan. Thanks for being here. Do you have your Mal back, Alan? How did Lisa find that hat that almost matches your hair color? Well, no, actually, not really, Joe. If I look, my hair's a lot lighter, right? So, and the funny thing is, I had to cut the back of it to make it fit my head. It was way too small. So, anyway. It is what it is. I'm happy to have it. She's a doll for running out at the last minute and making it for me. She was out all day, by the way. Alan, who I just said hello to in the chat, his wife had a little minor procedure today, and Lisa picked her up this morning at the hospital, or at her house, brought her to the hospital. She picked her up around 7:30 and pretty much stayed with her all day, got home, ran out and grabbed some dinner, and then I said, please, I need a bow. I want to put a bow on my shock mount. I need to do something else to dress up the studio for this. So she made me the bow, and then after we had dinner and before we started sipping the wine a little bit, she went out to the dollar store to try to find me a hat, and this is what she came home with. So I do appreciate her doing all that for me. And Unky Joe says, I love Filmic Pro. Got my start with that on my old iPhone. Yeah, no, Filmic Pro is an awesome app. And the nice thing about it is it does have, if you do want to use it for a live streaming setup, like AirPlaying it to an Apple TV or something, it allows you to do the clean HDMI out so you don't get all that on-screen stuff that you normally see in the display of the phone. Bob says, Oben 12YO in my glass soon. All right, Bob, you can translate for me, because if that's a hard liquor or a whiskey, I don't drink any of that stuff, so I don't have the slightest idea what you are talking about, but cheers, my friend. Haley, welcome to the chat. And yes, you can finally chat. Oh, did my 5-minute member-only requirement force you to subscribe? Well, see, it works. No, just kidding. Thank you for being here, Haley. Appreciate it. And Jason says, oh, and I see the GrandStream phone. Yeah, I have the GrandStream 2135 on my desk. That's an older phone, but I do love it. It's my daily driver. That was sent to me by a viewer, Dennis Pilla. Some of you may know him and see him a lot of times in Willie House streams. So Dennis sent me that. Joe sent me a couple of GrandStream phones. I actually have one set up on that back work desk and one in the room by my server rack. And then I also have downstairs, I have the WP8, is it the WP822? The 822 is downstairs. So yeah, I have a couple of the phones laying around. So yep. If I showed you behind me here, you would have seen the 7660 and the GWN 7062 router. So, but they're off to the side here. Joe says we got all the wives here tonight. That's awesome. Well, not all of them. Mine's downstairs sipping her own wine, watching probably a Hallmark movie. Thank you, Unky Joe. I appreciate that. Let's see. Jason says I have the 2170 phone I got for $20 off eBay, brand new. Remind me too. I want to mention something that I picked up off of eBay. Not networking tech related, but tech. And Bob says it's a 14-year-old Scotch and it's pronounced Oben. Okay. Hello, Catherine. Welcome to the screen. And Catherine says what Bob is drinking is in Scotland. Very cool. Okay, so we are all caught up with the chat. So I did mention to you folks that we are hosting Christmas Day and we're heading over to my sister's on Christmas Eve. So we're looking forward to that. I am actually flying up to New Jersey on Saturday morning, flying from here in Wilmington, a direct flight, 6 o'clock in the morning flight to Newark, New Jersey. My older sister has a townhouse down here in one of the communities. She lives full-time in New Jersey, and she finally retired. In fact, tomorrow is her last day at work, officially in the office, and she is deciding to come down for the next 4 months. So she'll be here through April or most of April, and we're very excited about that. She's going to Snowbird for a while, like go back and forth between here and New Jersey, and to make sure she likes it here before she uproots and possibly sells the house in New Jersey. So the whole point being is she's never made the drive, and if she's staying here for 3 months, 4 months, she's going to need transportation. We thought about maybe buying a second car for down here, but having a car up sitting in New Jersey for 4 months when she's down here, and vice versa, when she's up there having a car sit here for 4 months, figured wasn't really the smartest way to go. So she's never made the drive. It's approximately, depending on the number of stops and the speed you go, it's approximately 9 hours and 45 minutes door to door. And she's never made the trip. She's older than me, and she's little, so to speak, concerned about doing the trip for the first time on her own. So the good brother that I am flying up Saturday morning on the 6 o'clock flight to get off the plane, get in her car. She's going to pick me up at Newark Airport, and we're going to make the trek down to North Carolina. So that's what I got coming up in the next 48 hours. Tomorrow I just got to get out and sew up a few loose ends on a couple of small jobs that I got going. But then Saturday morning I'll be airborne and then driving most of the day. So probably not getting a video out this week. So I do apologize for that. But there'll be one hopefully the following week. All right, so that's that. Let me quickly go back to the chat, see what we're doing here. Okay, Unbridled Emotions is in the house. James, thank you for being here. I thought you guys were in transit today, commuting. Tell Lee I need that hat more. Yeah, but looks great. So is the, so is D.25. Hallmark recorded. Okay, not clarify a little that for me too. Again, hello, Catherine. Thank you for being here. Yes, Brussels sprouts. Hallmark is life. Yep. Not all caught up. I'm still here. Haha. Safe flight drive, my brother. Safe flight drive, brother. Thank you. I thought you guys were heading out today. So, all right. We must have had our signals mixed up. Ashley says, sounds like the best road trip. Love her. Pit stop in Connecticut. Let's see. Newark, New Jersey. Newark, New Jersey's here. North Carolina's here. Connecticut's kind of like somewhere up here. So I think we're going in the wrong direction, but would love to though. Bob says live stream the drive. Oh my God, no, Bob. I love my sister, but I wouldn't do that to anybody. Yeah, no, Ashley. Ken Pryor. Hey, Ken, thanks for being here. I think you're the first timer in my stream, and late as usual, no worries. I'm just happy to have you here. And I see in your little icon picture there that you're playing a guitar, so that's cool. That's cool. Fellow musician in the house. Alan says, "Hope you can sleep in the car." Yeah, the whole point. I'm probably going to try to sleep on the plane because I absolutely hate flying with a passion. But you know, got to do what I got to do, and so hopefully I'll get to sleep on the plane a little bit. I don't want to sleep in the car too much, only because the whole point is I don't want her to take a turn off of 95. You know, a lot of times if you follow the GPS will tell you to take an exit, and you really don't have to. Just follow the signs for 95 south. You know, GPS will try to sometimes put you on 395 or 295 or 495. No, just go straight. Follow signs for 95 south. And just the whole point in me being in the car is to make sure she stays en route, basically. I know she can do the drive. Would be worth it. Well, maybe. I tell you what, Ashley, maybe I'll FaceTime you and you can say hello to her while we're driving on the trip. But live streaming it, I don't think so. Michael Berg, thank you for being here. Don't worry about joining late. I appreciate you being here. Always good to have you. Uncle Joe says the chat jumped, and Bob, you're supposed to say, you know what that means, right? Cheers. Thank you, Catherine. Yes, all liked the video. We got 16 viewers, 12 likes, so we're doing pretty good. Dorothy said, Dorothy is James's wife, also watching Hallmark, all of 25. I gotcha. Now I got it. Okay. You were being a little cryptic there, my friend, and you're leaving Sunday morning. Okay, cool. Let's see. Unky Joe says, I have not flown since 2001 Vegas. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I mean, I'll do it if I have to. We're going to Jamaica in January. The wife and I, and you know, when you got to fly, you got to fly. You just don't have any choice. We are looking forward to that trip. It's going to be the first time we get away. We were planning on going to Europe, Italy, and doing all that for our 25th wedding anniversary, and that was in June of 2020. But as most of you who know me and that are close with me, well, obviously that was the year of the pandemic, but my wife also had battled a bout with breast cancer at the time. So between the breast cancer and the COVID, we had a double whammy the year of our 25th wedding anniversary. So this is, Jamaica's not quite Italy, but it's the first vacation we went on after we met years ago. So we decided we were going to finally get away. And so we're going for her birthday. Her birthday is January 12th. So we'll be gone January 10th through the 17th. All right. Jeremy says, I'm not going to be traveling until the week after Christmas, headed north of the Windy City, Chicago. That I knew because I did have cousins in Chicago for many years. Only made the trip out to visit them once, and that was back out in 2019, and absolutely loved it. But I have to say, I'm not one for cold, which is why I'm in North Carolina, but I thought it was beautiful. I would love to go back. Unfortunately, my cousins moved. They're not in Chicago anymore. They moved. They had enough of the cold weather after almost 30 years, and now they're down in Florida. So I don't foresee myself going back to Chicago anytime soon, but I did enjoy my trip. My PVR always gets a big workout around Christmas from Hallmark. Yeah. Let's see. Ken says, I am stuck at home this week with COVID. Oh no, Ken, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope your symptoms are mild and you get over it quickly. Here you go, Bob. Remind me the last 4 of your fax number. Good question. 0680. Haley has our DVR about 60% full with Hallmark movies. Okay, for those that are newcomers, the party game here is every time the host says the chat jumped, you should drink your favorite beverage, be that water, caffeine, or something stronger. Yes. Haley, and the other 40% is engineering catastrophes, Mr. Shell. By the way, nice stream the other night, Jay. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope the plans for the basement work out well, the studio. I hope you do some follow-up streams, because obviously as things progress in the construction and the design and planning will also change as well, and we'd like to see updates on that. But I thoroughly enjoyed that stream on a Monday evening. Catherine says, when you are already in Jamaica, you can come to Colombia, not too far anymore, to CTG, the Indias. Oh, okay. Is that where you're located, Catherine? I assume. Yeah, we're glad to be going, Joe. We had a blast the first time we did go. Bob Carpenter to Joe says faxes are still useful, especially with insurance companies. Yeah, and so the whole thing behind the fax number is, so about 2 weeks ago, Joe asked me if I ever configured, I have the GrandStream ATA, the 802, the 2-port ATA, and Joe had asked me if I had ever configured that to work with the cloud-hosted PBX, and I said, no, I haven't. I do have it configured with, and did I have a fax machine connected? Connect the fax to the ATA to a cloud-hosted PBX, and at that point the answer was no. But I had configured the ATA to work with an old rotary phone. I did a video on that. I'm sure you guys saw that at some point, and it's connected to the video phone, not the video phone. The rotary phone is an extension on my UCM 6302. So with that, of course, I wanted to figure out how to. So anyway, long story short, we got the ATA working with cloud-hosted provider, and then from there, I just said, geez, why don't I take my printer, which was an all-in-one, and just connect it to the PBX directly and set it up to set up the fax server within the UCM 6302 and get that to work. So between the little ATA project and then I was working with the setting up the 6302, the built-in fax server, we were doing some test faxing back and forth. So I guess that's why the question about the number came up. All right. Back to the comments. So Bob says, heading over to Vancouver Island tomorrow, 4.5 hour trip, including a ferry to visit family. Cool. I'm also planning to drop a little something into Jason's hands. Awesome. Ken's saying, not feeling too bad. That's good, Ken. I'm glad to hear that. This time has been way easier on me than it was last time, than it was a couple of years ago. Cool. Glad to hear it. Can't wait to see at TVJ do crafting too. Yes. And I can't wait. If that's the case, I want to see Haley do broadcast engineering, TV broadcast engineering. Yes, Catherine says, I'm in CTG de Indias. All right. Oh, you're welcome, Jay. Anytime. I enjoy your streams thoroughly. Joe says the number isn't working. Well, I did receive a fax earlier today, so I'm not sure. Maybe I gave you the wrong last 4 digits. I really don't have it memorized. And you're probably sending something to make me laugh anyway. So, all right. Bob's saying, I'm waiting to get that 6302 or less as it works with standalone ATAs from GrandStream as well. I have the HT814 full. Okay. And James says, plug Unbridled Emotion Season 4, Episode 1, dropping Christmas Day. Plug, yes, thanks for all your efforts. Couldn't do it without you, my brother. I wish I could be behind the glass. All right, so James is a good friend of mine, as is Alan, who was in the stream earlier. We all rode together with the same Harley Club back in New Jersey. We all moved down to North Carolina roughly around the same time. James does a podcast. It's called Unbridled Emotions. If you want to check it out, go to unbridledemotions.com. I kind of helped him with it. Long story, but I basically produced the podcast for him. It's an audio podcast only. We've done 3 seasons. It's all about reflecting on positivity and being thankful and reaching for those dreams that you're reaching for, and never giving up hope, and all that kind of stuff. And he does a great job. All of his pieces, they're short. They're 3 to 5 minute podcasts, and all of his pieces are real life reflections of experiences and situations he's been through. We just did a kickoff show last week, December 6th, a live show. It was an hour and a half. Again, you can check it out at unbridledemotions.com. It was a great show. We had Jack Smitlin on. Jack is a 40-year coach in New Jersey, sports coach, and he has his own radio show. He's been on WFAN radio and all of the above. That was a great show. So, yes, thanks, James, for bringing that up. So, there you go, buddy. There's your plug. And you're very welcome. I enjoy doing that with you, and I'm looking forward to the next live show. DJ Ware's in the house. Let me grab your link, DJ Ware. Thank you for being here. Let me drop DJ Ware's link into the chat as I've done the others. There you go. Check out DJ Ware's channel. So Alan says, when you get back, got to take care of Debbie. See you when you get back. Got to take care of Debbie at the hospital. Yes, give her my love. Give her a hug and kiss for me, please. Thank you for stopping in and spending a few moments with us. And Joe says it wasn't anything funny. Jason Slab says, that Bob Carpenter, I have the 6300A and a pile of phones and stuff. If you need anything at Bob Carpenter, let me know. I think we're coming to the end of not the end of the chat, but we're getting caught up. Bob says, I have a wife that doesn't want me to mess with the phones anymore. My wife just goes like, it's all, I don't want to hear anything. Do what you want to do. That's your thing. And I appreciate that. Let's see. Okay. DJ Ware's in the house, and I have a VoIP client on her phone, but I don't have a lick of PBX stuff, like other than the other than the HT814. All right, looks like we're finally all caught up with chat for now, anyway. Okay, 13 viewers, 13 likes. Thank you guys, I appreciate it. Yeah, let me see if I can give you a wrench, Bob. Hold on, let me see if I can do that here. Usually, let's see. All right, usually I'm clicking on the 3 vertical dots next to your name. It usually says make mod, but that's not an option appearing in the menu. I could put you in timeout. I'm not going to do that. I could pin your message, but I'm not going to do that. But it's not giving me the option, but I will. And for future streams, Bob, I will definitely make you a mod. I appreciate that. So Jay gave me the right number. Go grab the fax. Hold on one second, folks. I will do it because Joe's asking me nicely. So let me just do this. Here, and be right back. Okay. Well, thank you, Joe. I'm going to share it with the group. I hope you don't mind, but hey, no, not that, that. Merry Christmas to you guys as well. That's awesome. So the fax does work. Thank you. Okay. And to that, we're going to take a sip of the Malbec. Okay. Back to the chat real quick. And then then I do want to jump off and show you guys something, but let me just get caught up here. Okay. Jason's reminding me, what was the thing that I got off of eBay? Thank you. Jay says, I don't kill the phones, but I have killed the power, LOL. Jeremy says, hate faxes. Best thing I ever did was move my dad to eFax when he was still running his business. And yes, thank you, DJ Ware, for bringing that up. I meant to ask you that too, Jay. Are your tower lights fixed? I'm guessing that that's going to be a pretty lengthy process. So if you can give us an update on that, that would be great. Yeah, maybe. Send me in, Joe. Send me to Guinness. Yep, and Bob says you've killed your tower of power lights. Okay. All right. Yeah. Let me show you. Let me bring up the site real quick. Let me get it up on the screen where you guys are going to be able to see it. I'm so excited. Not a big deal. It's a little techy. I mean, it's not networking tech like we're used to on these channels, but all right, let me see if I can get this to work. All right, 1 second. Okay, cool. Let me switch over. Hopefully you guys can see that. I've been in a quest for since the pandemic hit, for a Bose SoundTouch SA5 amplifier. As you can see here, it was only sold from 2015 to 2020. In the year I was looking for it, the production ended. And so the reason I wanted another one, I have one already in place. And the reason I wanted a second one was because when I built this house, wired speakers on the front porch and in the rear exterior speakers on the front porch and the rear outside deck. And the Bose SoundTouch technology, it's kind of like, it was Bose's answer to Sonos. They came out with it about 10 years ago, like in 2012 or 2013. And of course, everybody was buying Sonos at the time, but Tony had to, march to the beat of a different drummer and go with Bose SoundTouch, right? So I did. I invested lots of money, and it's like a whole host Sonos system, but it's from Bose. So I have their wireless speakers set up all in every room of the house, and then I have wired speakers on the front porch and wired speakers in the rear. So this device right here allows you to take the wired speakers, you plug them into the back. This has the SoundTouch technology built into it. It sits on your network with an Ethernet cable. It could also be put on your network via Wi-Fi, and it allows those wired speakers to become part of that whole home system. So for the time being, up until this week, I had both the front pair and the rear pair of speakers wired into the back of this device because it can manage up to 2 pairs. And it was working for me. It was working for me no problem. But the reason I wanted the second one was I wanted to be able to split the front and the rear into their own individual zones. I didn't always want to have both pairs of speakers playing. If I was sitting in the front with a glass of wine and a cigar, there was no reason for the speakers in the rear to be playing, and vice versa. So in order to split them and make them their own separate zone in the whole home system, I needed to get a second amp. So finally getting around to the story, when I looked for one, since they stopped production in 2020, I couldn't get them on the Bose website. They weren't available. So I went out to eBay, and well, you remember what was happening with supply and demand. Um, they retail normally for $5.99 when they were being sold new. They were being price gouged on eBay at the time for $1,500, $1,600. And as much as I wanted one, I just simply refused to pay that kind of money to just be able to separate my zones, my speaker zones. So every once in a while I would go on and check, and it was just ridiculous. Well, this week I said, hadn't checked in a while, and this week I went on to eBay and I said, let me just take a look. Because Joe, again, I've been chatting with Joe, and he had mentioned that he's been selling a lot of stuff on eBay, and it kind of triggered me. And I said, let me go on eBay and check for that amplifier. And I picked one up for $425. It arrived yesterday. It's in mint condition. I hooked it up right away and got my zone separated, got it configured, and yay, happy, happy, happy. I've been trying to do that for 2 years, and finally, patience. I just, like I said, I refused to pay. I remember even writing to one of the sellers, asking him to cut me a break a little bit on the price. I was like, I refused to pay 3 times what the retail price was new for a used piece of equipment. But anyway, so that's that. So that was the one thing I did want to share. So I got an interesting comment today from a viewer. I'll remain nameless. If you want to see who it is and read more into it, it's probably on my site. It was on a video that I did, and we could have a whole conversation on just this topic alone in another stream, but I just thought I'd share this with you. It was on a video that I did about a year ago when I switched from keeping my photos on my phone in iCloud to Synology Photos, when Synology moved up to DSM-7 and they released Synology Photos, blah, 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 and all that stuff. And the video's doing okay. I mean, it's got like 27 or 28,000 views. So, and I've gotten a lot of good comments on it. And basically the gist of the video, if you haven't seen it, was just all about moving your photos out of the cloud to your own storage device in network that you can, have full control and management of your data without having to deal with the photos being out in the cloud. And at that time, iOS 15 hadn't been released yet, but it was on the verge of being released, and Apple was introducing the technology where they were hashing the photos and scanning looking for child pornography, and that whole era was starting to come into play. So anyway, and I remember saying in the video, I have really nothing to hide in my photo library. It's just more about getting my photos out of the cloud and off my phone and into Synology Photos, where I can manage them securely. Well, again, I got tons of nice comments. I got a lot of people commending me and giving me kudos for the fact that, someone middle-aged to older age was concerned about security and cybersecurity and things like that. Well, got a guy today basically condemning me for, and he didn't say it in so many words, but like reading between the lines, he was basically condemning me for moving my photos away from iCloud. And saying, like, what kind of person can you be not wanting to support a company that is, looking to protect children, blah, blah, blah. But that's a whole nother story. And like, wow. So I initially responded and I said, I really don't fully understand your comment on many levels. But then he wrote back and he said, well, and then he quoted me like at 2:07 in the video, you said this, and at 2 whatever you said, and at 3 something you said this. So I went back and I watched the video because it's been about a year, and like really, it was. I just wrote back to him and I was like, I normally don't engage. Normally I'll just like block them, but this time I decided not to. I just basically said something to the effect of, I think you're reading way too deep into this video. The whole purpose of the video was just to provide an alternative for folks who prefer not to keep their data in the cloud and manage it themselves on their own local server, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I said, I've never even thought about the fact that I was taking my photos out of iCloud as not supporting, supporting Apple. I was like, I've been an Apple guy my whole life. And I commend Apple for, taking those steps. In fact, I even said that in my video, and I quoted him back and I said, at the 2:31 mark, I even said, anyway, and then I said at the end of my response, I said, enough said, and I haven't heard back from him. But I was like, wow, that's wild. Like, when you put yourself out there on YouTube, you just never know. But anyway, I wanted to share that because that was just, I found that so strange. Jeremy, we were talking about comments the other day in your stream. So yeah, you never know what to expect. Going back to, speaking of the comments, let's go back to the comments. All right. So James says, going to jump out of the chat. Always love your thoughts. Love you guys. Merry Christmas. Same to you and Dorothy. We'll see you when you get back. Thank you for stopping in. Jay says, no, the tower lights are not fixed. I'm going to try to fix them on Saturday. Oh, you're not going to be climbing, are you, Jay? I hope not. Hey, the tech for your ride was pretty awesome too. Oh, thank you. You're talking about the motorcycle when I changed the LED headlight. I installed the LED headlight. Thank you, Bob. Thank you for watching. Yeah, that bike's got a lot of nice stuff on it. Most of it installed by the original owner, not me. Catherine says, tomorrow I will check the BIOS version of the MacBook, MB of the PC. Oh no, the MB of the PC build for my neighbor. 3000G worked. 56G is in but not starting. Okay. Bob says, how much is that? The Sonos amp is painful expensive. When it was being sold, Bob, retail from Bose, it was $599 new. Like I said, I just picked up the used one for $4.25, I think it was. And again, it was in mint condition. So yeah, I know they're all about the same. The Bose, they had the S SoundTouch 10, which was $199. It was the smallest wireless speaker. It was, I guess that would be the equivalent to the Sonos 1. Then they had the SoundTouch 20, which was $399. They had the SoundTouch 30, which was just a big ass wireless speaker. That was $699. And then the amp was $599. So Joe says, what are you going to do for your 20K subs? I don't know. At the rate that my channel's growing, I got a lot of time to think about that. But I'll probably do some kind of giveaway, some router or something like that. I don't know, maybe a Switch. We'll see. But I don't think that's going to be happening anytime too soon, unless all of a sudden the channel takes off. But that's a good question. He should do something for sure. Yep, I will. Like I said, I don't think I have to worry about that anytime soon. I think the moral of your story is just to scroll. Well, yeah. And typically I do. But for some reason, I actually said to the guy, you're putting words in my mouth. You're reading way too deep. Your interpretation of my words, I find fascinating. Dark Lord, I think this is the first time I've seen you here in the chat. Thank you for being here. Like the Beatles said, when people were burning their albums, they had to buy them first. In the same vein, they don't have to watch. Correct. And that individual did. You got a view and a comment. Yeah. Yep. You can look at it that way. It's not about having something to hide. It's about owning your own privacy. Yes. And Joe, I thought of you today. I thought of you specifically when I was engaging because I was like, if I bring this up in the stream, I know I'm going to trigger a nerve in Joe, and we could probably dominate the screen, the rest of the stream with this conversation, which I don't want to do, but it could be a topic for another joint live stream, where we bring in multiple creators like we did last month when we did the holiday gift giveaway. And yeah, hey, you guys never told me. That was one of the things I asked you earlier on. I said, if you secured any good deals for on Black Friday. So if you did, let me know. Put them in the comments. Put it in the comments. Yeah, no such thing as privacy. And TVJ says, I put my photos on a Nextcloud server I own. Yep. It's not just the pictures, it's all the data these companies take. Yep. Jay's like, I'm not climbing there to fix the lights. It's just a junction box about 10 feet up. Oh, cool. That the problem might be there. You think it might be there, but we won't know, I guess, until you check it Saturday. Well, hopefully you're feeling better too and feeling up to doing that. Motherboard, MacBook, no. Sorry, Catherine. I haven't built my own PC in, let's see, it's 2022. I haven't built a PC probably since the early 2000s. So I'm probably just a little behind on the terminology and shortcuts. Let's see. Tech for Fun says you don't own your device anymore. You don't own your privacy. You don't own your data. Got to do everything you can to take it back. Yep. Jason says, I fully agree. The best deal I made, keeping my wallet mostly closed. Yep. Especially, yeah, for sure. I went back to work today, so I'm feeling better. Good to know. Good to hear, Jay. Awesome. All right. Oh, I grabbed a couple of screenshots today. I wasn't planning on this, but because I scheduled the stream yesterday, obviously. But while I was doing some stuff up in the studio today, I got the alert. Jason, you probably got it. You probably saw it. Grandstream released a 40-minute or 30 to 40-minute webinar, not a webinar so much, but finally introducing their switch line. So I said, ooh, I'm going live tonight. I could just bring that up and just share that. So what I did was I simply, hold on one second. And let's see. There we go. I simply just grabbed a couple of screenshots from that 40-minute presentation, and I could pretty much bring it down to like 2 minutes, just highlights of what they did. So I thought it would be just worth noting. Been waiting for this. They actually, I think, released these switches within the last week or two, but they actually did the public YouTube quote release, official release today. And they're calling them the GWN 7800 series. They're managed network switches. They're layer 2 plus switches. Not layer 2, not layer 3, layer 2 plus. And they have 3 flavors. You can see they have an 8-port, a 16-port, and a 24-port. What I'm really excited about these is it finally gives us a chance to build a full networking stack of all Grandstream, from the router to the switch to the APs. So that's a complete solution right there. I've already asked Brian weeks ago to put me on the list. I don't even care if they send me the smallest one, but I do want to be able to do a video on doing a complete Grandstream stack. Of course, I haven't heard back from Brian. I know he's a busy guy, but so here you have, taking a look at, like I said, I just stole these or captured these screenshots. You see, they call them layer 2 plus managed network switches. They have the 7801, and in parentheses, you see the P, the 7802, and the P in parentheses, the 7803 with the P in parentheses. So they have basically 6 models. They have a non-PoE version of each flavor and a PoE version of each flavor. They come with 8, 16, or 24 gigabit ports, 2 or 4 gigabit SFP ports. So the 8-port switch has 2 gigabit SFP ports, and they all have a console port as well. The 2 largest switches come with the 4 gigabit SFP ports. I know not SFP plus, but I'm going to talk about that, not that per se in a second, but we'll refer to that in the next slide or two. Now, it says that they're managed via the embedded controller, but the embedded controller, what they're referring to there is its own web user interface. So you can log into the switch itself through the web GUI. It's also, it could be managed with GWN Cloud or GWN Manager, which is their Linux desktop management software. At this point in time, it can't be managed by one of the other devices. Based on what I heard today, they didn't basically say, no, it can't. But the way they explained it, the management options. So typically with this device here, so with this device here, it's got its own built-in embedded controller. It can control up to 15. This is the router. This is the GWN 7062. This can control up to 50 other GrandStream access points. The access points themselves also have an embedded controller that can control up to, most of them, this one for say can control up to 50 as well. However, this new switch line can't be like, if I have this one set up and I have this one paired and managed by this one's controller, I can't add the switch to this one's controller. So I hope they change that in an upcoming firmware release, but if I wanted to be able to manage everything, I can just use GWN Cloud. It has built-in QoS and advanced LAN, and it supports IP4 and IP version 6. Just taking a closer look, again, 8, 16, 24 ports. The SFP ports are not shared. They're dedicated, so you don't have to worry about, well, if you use an SFP port, you can't use one of the Ethernet ports, that kind of thing. You can see the 8-port has 20 gigabits per second switching capacity. It's a desktop mount. It's not rack mount. And they didn't say anything about having a rack mount adapter. You can see it's got 120 watts of max PoE power. Then you got the 16-port 40 gigabits per second switching, desktop and rack mount. 240 watts max power, integrated fan. The 8-port is fanless. The 24-port, again, 360 watts max PoE power and integrated fan. Now, the nice thing, too, is it has dynamic PoE allocation, so it will dynamically assign a port PoE as needed up to 30 watts per port, which is really cool. And then GrandStream's basically suggesting here are their use cases, right? Enterprise, small to medium business, hotels, schools, universities, healthcare, call centers. That's where they see these switches being put into production. And then finally, they gave us a couple of sneak peeks of what's to come. So I thought a couple of these things were really cool. They don't have them yet, but they said in January, they will be releasing a GHP series of hotel model phones. Then they are working on more multi-WAN wired routers for small business. Those they're expecting to hit early first quarter, like February, March. But again, you know how that goes. They are working on layer 3 switches as well. They're talking, again, don't quote me or hold me to it because we can't hold them to it, but they're talking May, June. Then they're looking at coming out with more Wi-Fi 6 APs, more Wi-Fi 6 routers. And then what I was referring to before, not being SFP plus, they are working on releasing end of 2023 layer 3 multi-gigabit switches. So anyway, thought that was worth mentioning. I just gave you the 40-minute webinar in what, 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. So there you go. Thought that was definitely worth mentioning. So I'm going to go back to the comments. Let me just switch back to this and see what you guys are up to. So Jason says, yes, I watched that video about the switches and stuff. Bob says, do cows have ghosts? And I'm looking back. Did I miss something? Oh, TVJ says, the cows are gone, have been for over a year. I guess in the pasture where the tower is. Michael Berg, yes, switches. Bob Carpenter, any idea what the network fabric is? I don't. Again, I don't know much about them other than what they said today in the actual webinar itself. TVJ says, I don't remember layer 2 plus in the OSI model. Yeah, me either. I think this is like something new that they made up, marketing, you know. It does static routing. It doesn't do full like static dynamic and advanced QoS and all that stuff. So they're calling them layer 2 plus. Yep, there you go, Bob. Wimpy layer 3 routing, like you get 16 to 32-ish routes with performance hits, seems to be the norm. I don't remember what they said in the webinar. Jason, maybe you remember what the number of routes was. I want to say it's more like somewhere in the around 50-ish, but I could be wrong. Yep, you hit it right on the nose, the marketing layer. Switches aren't pretty like Unify, and you can't get a matching keystone. Joe, don't get me started on that. You know my position on that. Oh my God. Unify. Yeah. I should be done. Yeah. Yep. All right, Jason, I had to install some Unify for client remotely. Level 3 tech that was telling me how to do my job was baffled that the AP would not adopt. Yep, probably just needed a firmware upgrade. Yep. Set informed twice in a row. That's correct. Yep. You know, Joe, they didn't really say, they didn't allude too much to 10 gig per se, but they said multi-gig. So whether or not they mean, you know, 1, 2.5, 5, and 10, or 1, 5, and 10, I don't know. They didn't say what configuration, but anyway, yeah, or even 2.5, unless these comments were prior to me getting to that slide. I don't know. He was at level 3 higher pay than me. He said they all use Unify and it's good. I laughed when he said he didn't know what SH was and how. Yep. Oh my God, you guys. Feel free to tell the audience about my Netgate 6100 saga. Sent it out for RMA this week. Glad they took care of it out of warranty. Yeah, if I could remember actually what happened. I know you had a problem with it. It's about a year old. It stopped working. And Jay's like, yeah, what issues? I know you had a problem with it. It stopped working. It was just over a year, I think, maybe a year and a couple of days. And you called. The first tech you got said basically, there's nothing they can do for you, blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing. Didn't even offer you an option to send it in for an estimate for repair, nothing like that. I know you were livid at that point. And we're ready to, you were ready. And we had a long chat about it. And then you reached out again. And obviously the guy sent you back. We talked about maybe escalating it up to a supervisor, et cetera. And the guy emailed you back basically saying they would RMA it. So you're getting another one. We don't know if it's going to be new or refurbished, but you're getting another one for no cost, which is great. So, yep. And there you go. Joe said it started crashing 2 months out of warranty. Okay, I thought it was only a couple of days. And they told you it was the RAM controller went bad, right? Yep. Cool. All right. So how we doing here? Wow, we're live for an hour and 14 minutes already. Holy crap. Let's see. Yep, Joe says $700 router, so wasn't too happy, was going to have to throw it in the garbage. Yeah, I don't blame you. And DJ Ware says if it's an Atom CPU, some of them have a bad habit of going bad. Yeah, but still, $700 device, not too far out of warranty. As a company, stand behind your product. But anyway, what else? Oh, all right. I know what I can show you if you want to see it. I don't know. Talked about we were in a Zoom call, myself, Jay, Joe. We were in another YouTuber's Zoom call last week, and he asked us all to bring a gift. And I brought a gift that I didn't mention. If you all saw my stream in November where I had a bunch of YouTubers, Jay, Jason, Uncle Joe, David from PE for Doers, Willie Howe joined us. Hope I didn't leave anybody out. But in any event, we did a holiday tech live stream, tech gift idea live stream. And one of the gifts that I didn't mention in that stream, I brought to this private Zoom call. And I know Jay mentioned he asked me if I would do a video on it so that he could see more about how it works. And what I'm talking about, I'll give you just a little quick look at it. So what I'm talking about here is the Rocketbook. It's a cloud connected notepad, right? You write on it with a pressurized pen and it links to the cloud. Now, on the left side here, there are 7 different icons. Each one of these icons can be linked up to a separate cloud services. So you can basically have up to linked to 7 different cloud services, and there's shortcuts that appear for each cloud service at the bottom of each page. Now, you really can't see them here because they're in a very light grayed out print, but the whole idea is that if you write on the notebook, like I brought it so that I could take it out on jobs with me and write notes and take notes for coming back so I can come back to the office and, prepare estimates for jobs. So you write on it just like you would any other, like a pen and paper. It comes with dry erase cloth. I have it a little damp, so you just basically erase it. It's like a dry erase board, but it's in the pen notebook. I don't know if it's similar to the Remarkable. I don't have a Remarkable. I never had a Remarkable. I bought this. It was like $20, $28, something like that. And I just don't like taking an iPad or a tablet out to a job to do an estimate. I prefer the old traditional write with a pen. So this was the closest thing that I could find, and that was at a reasonable price. So I have this connected to my Gmail, my Google Drive account. So if I write on it like this and I write hello world, then basically I can take my phone. It comes with its own app. It's called the Rocketbook app. If I launch the app and I go into new scan and I just hold it up and scan it, it should take a picture of it. And now it's going to ask me to hit next. It's going to ask me where I want to send it. I'm going to pick Google Drive, hit next. And then let me just bring up my Google Drive account. Show you it should be there. It scanned it and it sent it up. Let's get there real quick. And let's see. All right, let me switch over. Now you're looking at my computer and I just wrote hello world and it's right here. Okay, so it just takes an image of it. If you could see some other documents here that I was playing with, you can see that it transcribes. I have the settings set so that it transcribes the text, and I could actually copy and paste that text into another document. If you place the title in double hashtags. If you surround it in double hashtags, then it will name the file whatever's inside the double hashtag. So I thought that was pretty cool. Let me go back real quick to the other view. There's also a feature in here called Snapchat. I'm going to try this with you guys. The way I scanned it before, where it scanned the page, what it'll do is if I enable this, not Snapchat, Snapcast. So it provides a URL. And basically the concept is, I'm not going to do it over the book, but the concept is if you hold it, place the phone on some kind of like pedestal or maybe in some kind of tripod or something facing down so it can scan the page underneath it, it will take periodic scans and then send the live transcription up to the cloud, and anyone that I share the URL with should see the live editing take place before them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try that. I might even share the URL with you guys if you want. So I'm going to copy the URL and I'm going to put it in my browser so I can see it. You'll see that in a second. And I'm going to share that same URL with you guys in the chat. If you guys want to open up a separate browser window, see if you can see my live edits. That'd be interesting to see if this actually works. So if you take that URL and open up your browser and go to that URL, we should be able to hold on one second. We should be able to see the live edit happening. All right, so now I'm going to do this. I'm going to hold this over my phone. I'm going to see if I can write with it and see if this works. It's going to be a little challenging because I got to kind of hold it over my phone. So you see it's trying to scan there. Okay, so it just took a scan. So if I write, hello, chat, hopefully it'll update and send that out to you guys at that URL. Hope this is working. So it appears to be working in my browser window. I don't know if it's working in yours, but let me know in the comments. Okay, so now one other thing I wanted to show you with the Rocketbook that I thought was kind of cool, and I'm not going into major detail here, but I'm going to replicate this is an actual dry erase board. Oh, and by the way, one thing I did learn is only use the pen that comes with the Rocketbook. This right here is a mistake. I grabbed the wrong pen. This is an actual pen from an actual dry erase board. Even though the Rocketbook acts like a dry erase board, you cannot erase. So I basically kind of ruined that page by grabbing the wrong pen. So make sure you use the pen that comes with the Rocketbook. Now that said, you could take any traditional dry erase board. So if you have one of these up in your office and it's up on a wall, and it doesn't have to be a small one like this. It could be a 24 by 36, a 36 by 48, large size board. You can actually turn it into a not so dumb board by just using these guys right here. These are made by Rocketbook and they're beacons. So now I just got to be able to get the plastic off. If I put a beacon in each corner like that, and they're reusable, they do stick. So if I place the beacon in each corner, I should be able to draw on a normal dry erase board and then scan it and send it up to my Google Drive. And I'm pretty sure you could do the same thing with the Snapcast as well. Okay, so now I'm going to take my pen I'm actually going to say, I'm going to write upside down so you guys can see me or see it. Hello, everyone. Now, technically, you're not going to see the board. I'm going to put the board up in front of me. What you are going to see me do is with my phone, take a picture of it using the Rocketbook app. But instead of scanning for the Rocketbook, there's an option there called beacons. So I'm going to just position it at the beacons. It's taking the picture. It just sent it up, hopefully. Let's see. Let me refresh that page. So it did take it. Oh, I see what's happening. Oh, I got to send it up manually. I got to pick Google Drive. I got mixed up because there's an auto feature, which I want to show you. I want to go back to the actual Rocketbook and show you. So it says it's auto sending now. I know you can't see that. And then let me switch to, I think it did send it finally, and it's right here. And that's what I just wrote on the dry erase board. So kind of cool that using those beacons, you can actually turn a dumb board into a semi-smart board. Again, for 20 bucks, 28 bucks, it's really cool. And the other thing too is, I'm not going to demonstrate it, but I'm going to show it to you. I did mention these right here. The only cloud service that I have connected to the Rocketbook right now is Google Drive. It's this one right here. Before, when I wrote this page, I had to hit next, pick the actual service that I wanted to connect to, and then wait for it to send. But if I choose the icon that's linked to Google Drive and I put an X through it there at the bottom of the page, I don't know if you can see that X. Now what'll happen when I scan the page, it'll just do an auto send. So I won't have to touch anything. In fact, let me just do that real quick so you can see it. Where am I? I'm in Rocketbook, scanning it. It's sending it. I'm not touching my phone other than anything else. It's sending it automatically. And there it is right here. Okay, and there it is. So anyway, Jay, that's the actual quick little demonstration of the Rocketbook. I kind of like it. It serves the purpose for me. I like to take it out and write on it and bring my notes back to the office and then organize them up in Google Cloud. So anyway, that was the Rocketbook. Let me go back to the chat, see where we are, and get caught up with you guys. All right, let's see. Catherine says, I'm too inexperienced, so I ordered an 8-port TP switch unmanaged. My new router only has 2 ports, which is not enough. That's okay. You know what? Unmanaged plug and play works. Multi-gig is stupid. It's not specific. So you have to take photos, then upload. The unit itself doesn't do it. Yes, Jay, this comment must have come in prior to me showing you that last automated step with the shortcut. How I know you are young at heart, you call it double hashtags, not pound signs. Oh my God. So you just said not to upload photos to cloud, but then you do it with Rocketbook. Yeah, well, yeah, you know, it's like use Lady A, don't use Lady A, you know, those little Amazon dots. I get it. I get it. By the way, yep. So yeah, it does say offline until it sends the first image. And then Joseph's there. So I guess it did work. Dark Allure says I can see it now. So I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool, Jeremy. I'm glad you felt that way as well. Oh, that's a good question. I should show you that. Thank you. let me show you the cloud services that it does support. Hold on one second. All right, I'm going to try something here with my phone. This time I'm actually going to connect the phone with an HDMI cable right into the ATEM with an HDMI to Lightning adapter, so I can actually show you the actual app. I'm not going to go through the entire app, but I want to show you the services that it does support. Just give me 1 second to set my display so it doesn't dim on me at 30 seconds. There we go. All right, let me go into that app. Let me go up to this super source real quick and change. Okay, so now you should be able to see the phone. Let me get the comment off the screen. Okay, so now you should be able to see my phone. And when you first launch the Rocketbook app, it launches to a history page of all the documents that you uploaded. On this page here, I don't know if you could see at the bottom, but it does say Rocketbook. This is the scan page. It does say Rocketbook, and it does say beacons. When I scanned the whiteboard with the beacons, I had to select that option. When I was scanning the Rocketbook page, obviously I had to select that option. But the cloud services that it supports, this is what I wanted to show you. So here are the 7 icons that I showed you earlier. You can see I only have the one set to Google Drive. By default, the others all say email. However, if I pick a second one and I want to change the destination, now here you can see all of the cloud services that it does support. Oops, sorry about that. I hit my phone. Google Drive, Evernote, Dropbox, OneNote, OneDrive, Trello, Slack, Box, iCloud, email, and iOS messages. So there's your list of currently cloud supported devices. Oops. So I hope that answers your question. Okay. All right. So back to the comments. That is a great question, Joe. You need to wait about 10 to 15 seconds for that to dry. Otherwise, it does have a chance of smudging, especially if you're a lefty where you're moving into the actual ink where you've just written. Yeah, that could. So you got to give it 10 seconds or so and be aware of that. Thanks, Jay. I appreciate it. I did make a video on it. I did actually record the video footage this week. I went into a little bit more depth about the app and all the features of the app. I think the demo, I didn't do as much. Like I didn't show the beacons. I didn't show the Snapcast. And then I just decided to scratch that video. I don't know why. Maybe I'll process it. I don't know, at some point. And yeah, so I guess everybody saw that it was offline at first, but then once it started to snap and take pictures, you guys all saw it. And you could set intervals. I think it was set to take snap updates in the Snapcast feature every 3 seconds. There were 4 options. Off the top of my head, I don't remember if it was 3 seconds, 6 seconds, 12 seconds. I can go back in the app and look. I'm not connected, but I'll just tell you real quick. Let me just go back in so I can give you kind of a little bit more accurate information. Scan frequency. So it will scan. Hold on 1 second. Wrong glasses. I know Joe's rolling on the floor right now. 3 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, and 60 seconds. So, okay. Oh, a tether you can use. It's embedded in my head. I hear it on Tuesday nights quite often. Yeah, Jeremy, good point. Point noted. No comeback on that one. You got me. And yes, you are correct. Oh my gosh, you guys crack me up. You can get replacement pages, I think, Um, yeah. Well, you know what? If you go to their website and they have a ton. In fact, let me do that real quick. Let me just take you there. Let me get the comments off the screen. Get you there real quick. Rocketbook. Come on. Did I lose my internet? Oh, I know. Hold on 1 second. Wrong website. There we go. All right. So if you go to their website, they have a ton of reusable notebooks and a ton of reusable journals. They all come with different page layouts and templates. I mean, I just have the basic Rocketbook core. But like I said, they have the core, the flip, the fusion. I mean, I don't know a lot about what these other ones do. I bought the core back when I bought it, and it's just basic empty pages. But what I can tell you is it does have the core comes with one, and you can write on both sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know, I'm not going to count them all, but there's a ton of them. So between the fact that you have ample amount of pages in the book, and you could dry erase and reuse it over and over and over again, I don't think you have to worry about eventually getting replacement pages. But as I'm saying that, Catherine, you're probably referring to this permanent mark that I could probably replace this page. So thank you for that. But I'm really not worried about it because I have so many of the other pages in the book that I can use. So, okay. How's everybody doing? We doing good? I'm out of my wine, and I don't feel like going downstairs to get more. But you want to keep going? We can keep going. Let's see. Let's go back to the comments because let's see. So Joe says, Jeremy, that's a good point. Tech for Fun says, how many pages in the book? I'm going to guess I counted 8. Well, 4 double-sided. There was a lot, Joe. I haven't taken an actual count. Michael Berg, thank you for coming. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. I just hope you have a safe, happy, healthy, festive season. Oh, cool. I am still on the fence about this product, but you are making me really interested. It's cool. I mean, again, I've spent more money on less exciting things. So I think I paid on sale. I caught it for $20. Can't go wrong. Yeah, I know, Joe. You're going to catch me someday. You're going to get there. I do too. I like to draw things. Hope you don't type pocket. Oh my God. That is a lot of pages. Yep. Get more wine. I will when I go down after the stream. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. Joe says, let's keep it going. You have surpassed the hour mark required by Joe, according to Jay. Yes, but as my Christmas gift, I want 2 hours. You know, Joe, we're pretty darn close. I mean, I don't think it'll be a problem going that whole length, maybe, and then some. I don't know. All right, so you guys still haven't told me if you got any good deals. I did. I got a good deal on Black Friday. Let me bring that up. Maybe I'll start. Maybe I'll kick off the ball rolling. So, and I'm going to thank Bob Carpenter for this. Well, I found it, but then I pinged Bob out on Signal and I asked him about it and he was like, yeah, absolutely. Nice specs. So let me just bring it up and show you what I'm talking about. So let me switch over to here and then go to here and then go to here. All right. So my sister, the one that I told you is coming down for 3 to 4 months, the one I'm flying up to go um, help with the drive down to North Carolina this Saturday. She is retired, but the company asked her to do some remote work, about 20 to 25 hours a week from home. So they are setting her up with a complete system at home, and they're sending me a router. Excuse me, I hope you guys didn't hear that. A router, switch, not a router and a switch. A router, a PC, two monitors, an IP phone, and a printer. And then we're just going to plug all that into her existing network, and then she'll be VPN'd right into her job. So aside from what they're sending her, she said, I really need a laptop of my own personally because I don't want to use work stuff. And I said, no, I get that. So she asked me to look for a laptop and stay within a reasonable amount of money. So in my search, I went to Costco and I found the Lenovo Slim 7i, 16-inch touchscreen. That should be it right here. So when I first saw it, it was $12.99. I saw it. I was looking for it on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And I said, hey, $12.99 for the specs that it has. I said, it's not fantastic price. I said, but it's not a bad price because some other laptops with similar specs to what this one has were $15.99, $16.99. So, I mean, even at $12.99, I thought it was a decent deal. It's the Lenovo Slim 7i, 16-inch touchscreen, 12th gen Intel Core i7, the Intel Arc A370M graphics. It's got Windows 11 Home. It's got 32 gig of memory. I believe the SSD is a 1 terabyte NVMe. So it's just for her needs personally, it's going to be more than enough. So I reached out to Bob. I pinged Bob, and I was like, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And he wrote back immediately and he says very impressive specs. He said the only thing is with the Core i7 12700H processor, you're not going to get the greatest battery life you would with other processors. And I was like, that's okay for her needs and for what she's doing. That will be, this will suffice in keeping her within her price range. So we dropped it in the cart, but then she was like, hold off. Let me, think about it. And then I spoke to her guy from work because her guy from work called me and he was like saying her tech guy from her job. And he was telling me everything he was going to send me for her place down here to set her up for her at home. And we were chatting about this device. And when I shared it with him, he was like, oh yeah, no, I like that. That's a good price. Well, when we went back to order it the day after Thanksgiving, it dropped from $12.99 to $9.99. Now I see it's still at $9.99. So at first I thought I grabbed a great Black Friday deal. Maybe they just dropped the price in general and it just happened to be a coincidence that it happened on Black Friday. But I did pick this up for my sister, and I think she'll be pretty happy with it. So shout out to Bob. Thank you very much, Bob, for just confirming this configuration that I picked out. So yeah, I definitely wanted to share that. Let's go back to the chat real quick. And Jay says, I can't talk about what I got on Black Friday because then it would give away. Yes, I got you. Gotcha. Didn't get this for Black Friday, but want to hear your thoughts on this compared to the vertical cable. Flukes Networks JRLEV2. I'm going to have to look that up, Joe, because I'm not sure off the top of my head. Let me look that up real quick. Fluke, I should say. Networks JR-LEV 2. Is this it? Let's see. Let's bring it up. All right. Fluke's Networks JRLEV2 Jack Rapid Punch Down Tool for Leviton 6110, 61110, 5G 110, 6110G. Cuts installation time, seeds cuts wires all at once, saving up to 1 minute per jack. The blade cuts off the excess wire, eliminating the need for a secondary trim step. High quality, simple one-handed operation. I've never used this, so when you ask me to do a comparison, the only way I would be able to speak to it intelligently to give you a comparison would be as if I had it and I used it and I tested it up against the vertical cable and gave you my true, honest opinion. That said, for example, I have the cable stapler from DeWalt, the 18 volt battery, 20 volt battery operated cable stapler, and I like it a lot. Well, the reason I have all Milwaukee tools, and you know that, most of you who follow my channel know that, but the reason I got the DeWalt stapler was because at the time, Milwaukee did not have a cable stapler. And I don't know if if you're aware, but they're specific to cables versus just an electronic stapler or a battery operated stapler. So that said, Milwaukee came out with the stapler, the cable stapler, and the guy I work with, Petros, he actually bought that one. We used it on the job when we did that house, and I was using the DeWalt, and he was using. So I actually had a chance to touch, feel, use, get the pressure on the trigger, all that, and feel the difference. So in that kind of situation, and I should borrow his Milwaukee one day to do a cable stapler comparison between that and the DeWalt, I would be able to speak to you about that. But like this, I don't know because I haven't used it. You have both. So I'm going to reverse the question. Give me your opinion on that. Give me your, comparison on that. So, but thank you for sharing that. Anyway, back to the comments. Jason said, woohoo, I just picked up a PC off eBay, win a nice little machine for $125. We're going to talk in a second. I want to bring that up too. I want to talk a little bit about Proxmox. I don't know if Jeremy's still in the chat or not, but in any event, I was looking at maybe doing something like this too, possibly. I don't know. I'll get into that in a second. Oh, that Lenovo laptop, you can test your Wi-Fi 6E. Yes, I didn't even mention that it had 6E item built right in. I bought NVMe, a 612 gig for $36 USD. Cool. And a 1 terabyte for $49 on Black Friday sales. Awesome, Catherine. PCIe Gen 4, both of them. Awesome. I don't have the Fluke one yet. Just curious about it because the vertical cable keystones are so expensive. Yeah. And my feeling towards that was the time that I'm saving and the higher rate of a successful termination that I was having with that, to me, totally justified the cost of buying the vertical cable jacks. But I hear you. I get what you're saying. Put the link, please. For the Fluke, I'm assuming you're talking about. Hold on one second. Okay, coming at you in a second. Just got to pull it up on Amazon. Here we go. And here it is. There you go, Catherine. And yeah, that is an Amazon affiliate link, by the way. I do want to disclose that. Been talking a lot to Jeremy. He's loving his new Supermicro dual node unit. I bet. DJ, where I got a new camera to replace my 10-year-old one Black Friday. What'd you get, DJ? I just bought a Dell Precision T3420 with the EV-1270 V5 with 32 gigs RAM and video card. It will be my Windows RDP machine. Cool. I'm still around watching the stream on the 55 in my living room, chatting from my phone. Cool. I do that. I do that too. I do the same thing. When I watch you on Sunday mornings, I watch you on the 65 and I chat from my phone. Joe bought a new keyboard on Black Friday. I have mechanicals, but for work, I like slim keyboard. You answered my question. I was going to ask you if you bought a mechanical. Got the MX keys for 100 instead of 120. Excellent. Cool. Having watched my drywall tackle the basement and leave almost no dust because he used the right tool, getting the right tool matters a lot. 100%. DJ got the Lumix GH6 invested in micro four thirds lenses, so didn't want to have to replace them. Don't blame you one bit. That sounds like an awesome camera. I know the G7 and the GH5 are great, so I can only imagine GH6. I don't own any of the Panasonic. Those are Panasonic products. I don't own any of those, but I know Joe has the GH5, and he speaks very highly of it. Oh, the Lenovo link. I'm sorry. I will get that to you as well. That won't be an Amazon link. That's just a Costco link. But I'll get that to you. Joe says it's a great camera. All right. Remind me, Catherine, again, before the end of the stream to shoot you that link. Okay. Talked about the house using the cable stapler on that house job we did. I just have a couple of pictures I want to share with you from that job, if you don't mind, if I may. Jay does a lot with slideshows in his live stream on Monday nights, and I admired that. And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. Like, there's no reason why I can't share some photos from a gig that we're doing. Well, we just recently finished it, but let me get that up there, ready to show. And switch. Okay, so this was a 6,000 square foot custom home. This is Petros, the guy that works with me on these larger home jobs. Here you can just see where he's feeding some wire up and across. Here you can see we came down here. This is just going to be a TV location right here. You can see the electrician added the electric here, and we just ran 2 Cat6 and 1 coax, so 2 data and 1 TV cable here, all stapled up, nicely tacked, looped behind the low voltage box, and it's wire tied right here so that once the sheetrock is up, we just got to get in there with a snip and snip that little wire tie and be able to pull the wire through. And here's just another look at that. You can see coming down from the top plate. Now, when we finished the job, we went around to every hole that we drilled and we filled with fire stop as part of the work we do. Here is another TV location. You could actually see on the stud TV date, and then it says D times 2, which is data times 2. So 2 Cat6E and a coax in this case. And you can see what I did was I labeled each room, even though they're marked, we wrote on the cables with marker and labeled the cables that way. I color coded each room so I know that the nursery, this was the nursery, which was why I used pink. So I know when I go back to the panel that the 3 cables coming into the panel that have pink on them, automatically I know that's the nursery. So we did that for each room. So like the living room was red, the master bedroom was blue, that kind of thing. So this is, again, outside it's going to be a screen room, and you can see the writing. This is the standard universal signal for electrical outlet on a wall. at 7 feet. And then you see here they wanted 1 coax and 2 data cables at 7 feet. So the electrician didn't put his box in yet, but we got to that location before he did. And you can see, again, we just looped it up nicely. We didn't put a box because this wall is going to be some kind of special material where they're going to have to build out away from the sheeted plywood here. So they weren't quite sure what was going to be involved. They were waiting for the material for to build this wall to come in. So we just left the cable looped, and the electrician will then put it in whatever, low voltage box to match the electrical box that he puts in for exterior purposes. So the builder was just good with us leaving it just like that. This is on the 2nd floor. It's a walkway around, so this whole area is open, and it's just like overlooking the entire family room. It's a pretty nice open floor plan. And what you can see here is we're just laying out the cables to pull so that they just don't get tangled up, because we had a couple of long pulls. We're just getting prepped for that. Here's a shot of the cables going into the structured wiring cabinet. That's a 14 by 28 inch structured wiring cabinet. We have blue Cat 6 cables, white coax cables coming in. And then here, before you say anything about this next picture I'm about to show you, I need to explain the environment a little bit for you. Because this is, every time I look at this, I cringe. I got to be completely honest with you, because this is not the way we like to work. But we were faced with a couple of challenges on this job. This builder built a solid house. He used LVL main beams. And if you don't know what LVL is, that's laminated veneer lumber. Because they were the main girders, by code, we were not allowed to drill through them. So anytime we had to get from point A to point B, in certain times we encountered a girder in the middle, like a main beam. So if we couldn't drill through it, the only option we had was we had to go up from the 1st floor into the 2nd floor, around the girder, and back down. And that's what this picture is a representation of. So like right here somewhere below this floor is a girder. And we couldn't go from point A here to point B down below underneath. So we had to come up through the plate, through the double stud, through the king stud here, and back down with our wiring. We definitely had to use some lubricant because of the number of cables we had to get through. You could also see, like, we really did not have a choice, right? I would prefer not to have to do this, but it was the only way around it in this particular situation. And this picture here that I showed you earlier was just laying all the cable out. That spot that I showed you is like right over here under this set of windows. You could see that the plumber did the exact same thing with the plumbing. So we tried to keep the cables as far away as we can, even though the plumbing was insulated. We just didn't want to have any problems in the future. But yeah, so like I said, I cringe every time I look at this. This is a little bit more like the work we like to do, where we strap up the wire in a nice bundle every 16 to 18 inches. We use basically in this house, we just use the wire straps with stapled to a wall, and then we just use them to form a chase. Here's some more. Here's another shot of that. So we are pretty diligent about trying to keep the cabling neat, especially like, a lot of guys would just come in here in a situation like this and just like let the bundle rest right here in this V. And the problem I have with that is this metal truss support, right? So I got to keep, in my mind, I got to keep the cables up and away from that. So again, just another look at you know, just keeping it nice and neat. That's over the fireplace. Here you can see we had this is speaker cabling, speaker wire, and the new construction speaker brackets. We had to install 10 of these throughout the house, 4 of them outdoors and the other 6 indoors. 5.1 system in the main living room. And then here is, so there to the left here and into this gray area is the fireplace. There's going to be a TV hung over the fireplace here. This is going to be a wall unit. So there's a wall unit on each side of the fireplace, and all the cabling is going to be coming down, terminating into the base cabinet to the right of the fireplace. So what we have here, all the white cables are speaker cables, and the, oops, sorry about that. And the blue cables are data cables for the camera. The surveillance, the NVR is going in that cabinet at all, not near the rack. So I did not design this job. I just was brought in as a subcontractor to do the rough-in. So I had to just follow the set of plans, and the company that actually did the layout and design put the NVR here in this cabinet. Now, all the speaker cables, talking about the Bose amp that I showed earlier, they're using a complete Sonos system. So they're going to use the Sonos amps, probably 5 of them, stacked in that cabinet to make to create the whole home wireless music system controlled from the phone. And then here, this is just the 2 data cables and coax for the TV. And then this one gang box here is, I didn't have it installed at the time when I took this picture, but there's a 2-inch flex conduit that's now sits behind it and goes up into where behind the TV is going to be, so that we could run the HDMI cables and whatever else cables from here, or from the actual set-top boxes up to the TV. Okay, so that's that one. And then here's the other side of the wall unit. For bookshelf speakers, you can see we laced the speaker cabling, and it's not stapled. We have a wire tie stapled to the stud. So we have a nice big loop on each wire tie. So all we have to do is, once the sheetrock is in, reach in for the wire and pull it through. So it's not tacked firmly. This is just another look at the, excuse me, this is just another look at the AV cabinet. The only difference from the first one I showed you was this one has 1 1/4 inch flex conduit going to the outside demarc location. We also have 2 Cat6 and a coax going to the outside. The conduit is for future fiber, straight to the interior. And then here we just got a couple more cables going across. So anyway, took those pictures, wanted to share them. Hope you enjoyed that a little bit. Time to get back to the comments. Let me just close this out. Give me 1 second. Okay. Okay, Joe says the GH6 is a great camera. DJ Ware says, heck of a lot easier to set up than my old GH4. TVJ says, I almost bought an 85-inch TV on Black Friday, but the guy told me to come back in 2 weeks because it would be cheaper. And was it? Did you go back? The next time you upgrade your cameras, Tony, what will they be? I assume someday you will move to mirrorless. I don't know, Joe. That's a really good question. It really all depends. And now I know this is going to spark, not a nerve, but this is going to trigger Jay a little bit. But it all depends what happens with 4K in the next year or two. Eventually, I would like to transition the studio from 1080p to 4K. I really do like having the A10 Mini Extreme here as the heart, the core of the studio. Um, so right now, the two Canon SL3 cameras I have, the Sony A6, which is the A6000, which is the top-down camera, and I'm back here. I have a Canon SL2, all 1080p cameras. They're perfect for the use case, the current use case. Um, I really don't want to give up my A10 Mini Pro. So to answer that question really all depends on a lot of variables. You know, what is Blackmagic going to do? Are they going to come out with a desktop 4K switcher at some point? Will I go to a different vendor switcher? I mean, so the answer to that question is time will tell. Oh, well, you were using Cat 6e now? No, did I say Cat 6e? Pretty sure I said Cat 6. In that house, it was just all straight Cat 6. Joe, I think he should pull an Aaron and drop like $8,000 on camera. Tony, you shouldn't assume nurseries for girls and choose pink. You're right. But in my mind, nobody else sees that list, right? When I go back and finish that job and do all the terminations, the only person that's going to see that pink is Tony and Petros, right? And Tony knows that pink is for the baby's room. So I used the wrong terminology, but it's for only Tony's eyes and Tony's eyes only. Oh my gosh. Joe, you crack me up. I should send you my inventory list. Yes, I do know all the crap you have. Well, I don't know all the crap you have because you sold off a lot of it. That's my chair, Joe, rubbing up against the keyboard tray. Of course, Aaron does it. Oh my God, I'm not even going to read that. I'm happy to see you running RF cables as well as data. No basement in the house. Nope, on a slab. Do we ever use J-hooks commercial? A couple of commercial jobs we've done. J-hooks are nice, but so much money for a small bundle like these. Correct. Surprised there hasn't been a cheaper version from China for low voltage. Seems to only be the heavy steel ones. What is the homeowner using for an NVR? I don't know. Interesting. That's a great question. Because when I met an actual sound company designed the plans for this project. So I met with them prior to accepting the job. We walked the site and we went around to all the locations and all the stud marking we did, like, TV/data ×2, blah, blah, blah. So we were all on the same page. One of the questions I asked was, what are you going to be using as far as equipment? You're going to be going Ubiquiti, you're going to be going Netgear, TP-Link. And the guy looked at me and he basically said, haven't gotten that far yet. So he basically designed the whole layout, spaced access points throughout, that has no idea what gear he's using, which I thought was kind of odd, but whatever. Again, like I said, my job was just to come in and rough in because they couldn't get the crew there in time, in the builder's time frame, to get the job done. So I don't know. I really don't know at this point. And we may go back and finish that job. We were talking with the builder and the homeowner, and he wants us to go in and quote. We won't do the NVR part or the sound system part, which sound system wires are already, we ran the wires. It's a matter of hooking up the Sonos apps and configuring them on the Sonos amps and configuring them in the app. No big deal. But if we go back and we're going to quote to do the actual networking side of it, which I wish I would have designed the plans for it myself, because I don't think I would have used that 14x28 structured wiring cabinet for the amount of cabling that's in that house. I would have done either a 4-foot freestanding rack in that little space there or a wall rack. So, but anyway, if we do get the job to go back and finish it, I will, I'm probably just going to use that 14 by 28 as a huge, large junction box and put a rack below it. So anyway, good question though, Joe. But I don't know. Jason says, I don't see a conduit from the TV to the audio cabinet for later use like HDMI and things. I think I addressed that. I think I answered that. I think you might have asked this question before I brought it up, but just in case you didn't catch it, I put in the conduit, the flex conduit, after that picture was taken. So there is one going from that low voltage box up to behind the TV. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Jay. You have a great image right now. DJ, where are you referring to my this shot right here? That's a Canon SL3. Thank you. TVJ says I haven't gone back to check the price of the TV. Jason uses a Canon EOS R for streaming. It does have wicked face tracking. Yeah, Canon does have fantastic autofocus, and I'm sure the more expensive ones like the EOS R are even better. I normally gone in on retrofit projects. They can be a real pain. Yeah. Actually, 2 hours and 11 minutes and 47 seconds. Are they using Control 4? Coworker just bought a house with it and hates it. Again, don't know. So now we know what Jason thinks. Thank you, DJ Ware. All right. Let's see. Wow, got 8 people still here. 2 hours and 12 minutes. I've spoken to Jeremy offline about this and kind of chatted with Jason offline about this. Joe was kind enough last year to give me an old Super Micro 1U server, and it's over there underneath that workstation. I just put it away for now because I haven't had any luck with it, but I really don't want to abandon it. But I have to be completely 100% honest with everybody that's still here in the chat. I mentioned earlier that I built computers, but that was back in the early 2000s. I used to go to the trade shows at the convention centers and buy the parts, the case, the motherboard, the power supply, the yada, yada, yada. I never built a server. So that's like, if you think building a computer and building a server are similar, no, 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 no. I don't know the first thing about building a server. Joe was kind enough. Excuse me 1 second. Joe was kind enough. He bought this. He did a lot of research on, what motherboard and what CPU to fit with the motherboard and the RAM and all that stuff. Never got around to building it. And he was like, it's just sitting here. Do you want to play with it? And I was like, sure. So when I was up there one time, we were networking the studio he had at the time. I came home with it. And I have to tell you, I'm kind of disappointed in myself because I have had no luck in getting it up and running. I mean, I did install the motherboard. I did install the CPU. I've done that in the past. So it's like when with computers and stuff. So like installing the CPU wasn't an issue. I installed the RAM. I bought myself a 500 gig SSD drive just as a startup drive to use and to install. My intent was to install Proxmox on it and start getting involved more with virtualization because I have very little experience with virtualization. And whatever virtualization I do right now is on a Synology 1621 Plus and using the virtual machine manager. And it gets the job done. I find it kind of clunky. So I was just kind of looking for another alternative, but I got my feet wet, and so now I feel like I want to graduate And I really like Proxmox from what I've seen. Jeremy, I've seen a lot of your videos on it. I watch a lot of your live streams on it. And I decided, and that's the route I want to go. Now, I know, Jay, you use something else, and there's VMware and all that stuff, but EXI and all that. But I think I want to go with Proxmox. So long-winded story. I can't seem to get that server up and running. Part of the problem too is I don't have a VGA monitor. So to try to get anything on the screen during the initial time I tried to boot it up to try to, get into it, I had to convert from VGA to HDMI to micro HDMI, and it just, I wasn't getting a signal and nothing. But anyway, to say the least, when I booted it up, I was getting a series of repetitive beeps in a series of 6 beeps and short beeps. And I don't know. I mean, I tried to look online. I looked up the motherboard. It's an older motherboard. It's an older server. And everything that I read online, and there wasn't much information, at least that I found, was pointing to RAM, but I don't know. Again, I don't know enough about it. So like, I guess my lack of knowledge, I just kind of completely backed away from it. So the other day, I had sent Jeremy a couple weeks ago an email. I had an old HP box that I was using for free PBX before I went to the Grandstream UCM. And that box has just been laying around. And it's only got 8 gig of RAM and yada, yada, yada. And I said to Jeremy, because I know he ran a couple of his early Proxmox machines on similar config units. So I said, Jeremy, before I waste my time with trying to get Proxmox up and running on this, at least it'll be a starter machine. Maybe if I really can delve in and get into this virtualization thing, that maybe I'll eventually buy an actual server or see about getting that other server up and running. But for now, I just want to play. And he wrote back and said, yes, the config is, the machine will be fine for a starter, this, that, and the other thing. Ran into the same problem. I don't have a VGA monitor. That the box is so old, it has VGA and DisplayPort. So ran into the same situation with having to convert, and I wasn't getting a signal in the monitor. So anyway, I just threw my hands up. So I'm frustrated. I would love some help with trying to get that super micro server running, because I don't know, like I said, I really don't know enough about it. I thought I could probably, being that fact that I'm tech savvy, figure it out and plug it away at it on my own. But so that's my story. So if anybody out there wants to lend Tony a hand, would be greatly appreciated. Trade, we'll do something or what have you. But anyway, I figured I'd mention that. So Proxmox is on my radar at some point, sometime, some fashion. So anyway, back to the comments, and then we're going to see where we go from there. Thursday night is a great night for streaming, apparently. Get the model of the motherboard. Yeah, I do have it. I don't have it at my fingertips right now, but I can get that. Yeah. Despite what Jay says, I can see the difference with 4K. I would love to see you move to that so I can see your Mediterranean skin even more clearly. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We lost our summer tan, right? So we are now fake and baking because we don't want to go to Jamaica and hit with the tropical sun and burn to a crisp. We did that 1 year in Mexico. We ended up overdoing it the first day. We spent the next 4 days in the hotel room because we were burnt like fried lobsters. So this time we're trying to be smart about it. We went to a tanning salon, took out a package, and we're going to tan a month ahead of time so that we have a solid base before we hit the Jamaican sun. So yes, Joe, I am surprised you didn't notice it yet, but I have a couple of tans under my belt already. So anyway, Jason's Lab, I like 4K stuff, but streaming good 1080p stream is better than 4K stream with a crappy sensor. This is true, but Tony would have a good sense. Tony definitely has a good sense of humor, that's for sure. We need the model number of this board so we can help Tony get this going. Yep, I will get I will get that information to you. If it's super micro board, it has IPMI. And again, because I'm so green, I know that that's another way of logging in and accessing the server. But I'm going to be quite honest with you. I really don't know what the hell that means. Like, if I had to do it and execute it, I'd be like, duh, what do I do? So that's what I'm saying. I'm completely a novice with, you know, building out a server. So any help, any guidance would be great. Use whatever makes you comfortable. If you like Proxmox, then go with that. Yes, we do CP model and mobile brand and model. Bring it on camera. Give the model numbers. Joe, it's under there. It's buried. It's heavy. I'm tired. It's honestly buried. I got 4 or 5 boxes on top of it, and I really don't feel like digging it out. But maybe next time. Maybe we'll just do the next live stream and put the server here, put the camera on it, and we can build it together. Turn around and grab that machine show. We need to encourage him to turn around. Yeah, it's way too freaking heavy, and it's right now it's buried. Go get another glass of wine. He is retired. And grab the server on the way back. Yeah, no, not tonight, guys. I'm 2 hours and 21 minutes. I'm starting to poop out. So anyway, let's see. So I did want to talk about that. Talked about the fax setup. Showed you the pics from the house. Oh, I don't have anything to show you as far as pictures, but so all of 2020, if you were following the channel at that time, I was working on a huge church project. We literally ripped out the entire network on the church and the campus. It's a school, like a ballroom. They call it the annex. And anyway, we ripped out the entire network and we redid the whole thing. And then after the network was done, we did all the surveillance. And then after the surveillance was done, they wanted the live streaming. So we got to doing the live streaming last year, this time, actually in November. We installed the live streaming gear, and I used 2 PTZ optics cameras, 20 times zoom and a 12 times zoom, and an A10 Mini Pro ISO, a PTZ optics controller, 24-inch monitor, a laptop for graphics. The sound was coming in from their main sound system, just to feed into the ATEM, a line out of the mixer. All right, so, and it's been up and running for a year, and it's been great. No problems. Woohoo. I showed pictures during the build process. I even did a couple of shorts on it, I think. Well, last Monday, a week from this past Monday, I got a call from Petros, the guy I work with. He's a parishioner at that church. He's like, dude, we have a problem. I'm like, what's that? He's like, overnight, a pipe broke in the ceiling, water all over the place. Everything was flooded underwater. He's like, there was water in the HDMI ports. There was, I know the stuff has got to be ruined. He says, I unplugged it all. He says, we got to get you in there. We got to do an assessment. And I said, well, if it's as bad as you're saying, I'm going to guess we're going to have to get new equipment because water's not friendly when it comes to electronics. Fortunately, adjacent to the live streaming setup, about 6 feet away, is the main MDF, and below that is the sound system rack. Fortunately, that area didn't sustain any water, so I got my fingers crossed. The network has been up. They have had internet access, although ever since he told me that, I can't remote into the UDM Pro. So I'm a little concerned that we're not out of the woods completely, even though the network is up and running. But that being said, going back to the live streaming gear, I feel horrible about that. I haven't been able to get in there yet because they They had to rip out all the sheetrock, and then they got a mold remediation crew in there, and they've been just running fans and blowers and trying to dry the place out. But I think we're actually going in tomorrow afternoon, and I'm going to assess and test everything. But wow, can you imagine? But that said, I want to share a website with you guys. If you need to get into live streaming, and it's called churchsetup.com. And I bought all the gear for, let me switch over to that. This, and this. Figured I'd share this website with you because the guy he makes it really simple. Like, remember I said earlier, Joe did all the research on what CPU goes with what motherboard and goes with what this, and well, he does all that. He saves you all that time and research and puts together live streaming kits. Now, I know he does it primarily for ministry, but realistically, I mean, you can apply this to pretty much any environment. So he has all different kind of kits. So like you can see here, if we go to the PTZ streaming kits, you can see one camera. He packages it with like an ATEM and a monitor. In this case, a controller with the 2-camera system. So if you look at, like, for example, the options here, what comes in the package, you get the ATEM Mini Pro, 230 times zoom, PTZ optics, 2 wall mounts, the monitor, the controller, 200-foot camera cable packages, power over Ethernet gigabit switch, a terabyte SSD hard drive. So he basically puts the whole package together. He offers with the package 12 months of premium technical support and 12 months access to training. So, you know, it's and he's there. When you call, his guy's name is Scott. You get Scott. It's awesome. So I will be reaching out to Scott again because I have a feeling we're going to be replacing a good amount of that equipment. And the neat thing is, say you look at this package here and you go, oh, $6,380. Well, I don't need 30 times zoom, but I do want 2 PTZ optics cameras. You can say to him, look, I like this package, but can you swap out the 30 times zoom for 12 time or 20 times zoom? And he will do that. Like when I bought it from him, I said, I don't need the 230s. I want a 20 and a 12. And I also don't need the gigabit switch because it's going to be I'll just VLAN it off my own network. We already have the PoE switches. And he's accommodating like that. He'll customize the package and adjust the price accordingly. So anyway, churchsetup.com. I will drop that link in the chat. And then I will also remember to drop the camera link in the chat as well. So let me put that in there. And Catherine, just bear with me. I got to go back out and get that link to that camera. Not the camera, the laptop. See, I told you guys I was getting tired. Lenovo Slim 7i 16. Okay, I'm going to shorten the link because it's a long link, Catherine. So the link I put in the chat will be, it'll be a short link, but it'll get you there. Should get you there. There you go. All right, I am going to go through the comments one more time, and then I think, let's see, Joe, we are live for 2 hours and 29 minutes. So I gave you your Christmas present, Joe. Joe says, okay, how about Super Chat? No, Super Chats are not going to make me go get the server. Schedule a stream just for troubleshooting. Yes, that's what I was saying, Jay. Maybe one of these days we'll just lay it out on top here and go through it together. Wear hats, sunscreen, 100. Wear t-shirts too, and try. Yeah, I don't know about the trousers, but definitely sunscreen for sure. I'm going to go. Have a good night, everyone. Jay, thank you for coming in. Appreciate you being here. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. I have to jet now. Wife is back and wants to keep me help bringing groceries. Night, Jason. Thanks for being here. We'll be in touch. Talk about our collab. Hey, are you driving straight from the airport to North Carolina with your sister? Yep. And Catherine says, yes, next time is the server stream. So, okay. On that note, folks are checking out, although we still have 10 concurrent viewers. I'm shocked. Folks are checking out. I do want to thank everybody for being here. I had a blast tonight. My whole idea behind tonight's stream was just to have a chill and just hang out, and I think we accomplished that. I hope you like the little festive set in the background and all. So anyway, thank you all for being here. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah. I want to wish everybody a safe, happy, healthy holiday season. And like I say to you in every video, my name is Tony with Quick Tech Solutions. As always, thank you all for being here, and we'll see you next time.